Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a good week. I wanted to just give you, hopefully, I won't take that long to show you what you need to do to convert your outline to your rough draft. So, to let you know again, your learning target is I can compose a rough draft from my outline. And of course, that's due on November 28th. Be sure to check the announcements to make sure that you have all of your dates right. So, this is what you're going to do. The outline is the bulk of what you needed to do. If you don't have an outline, then it's going to be really difficult to have a well organized rough draft, because even when you make it a rough draft, you've still got to go back and check it and possibly move things around. So the things that you're going to need for this assignment is, first of all, your outline, then your sources, because you're going to have a works cited on your rough draft, and then access to week 12. And I took a screenshot of those three documents. Do you remember those? And the one that's document 3, those I have done the MLA citations to show you how to do those. You'll just have to put in whatever your occupation or whatever career you're looking at. You're going to have to put that in instead of radiology technician, which is what I used from a student's paper. So again, your outline, you have to have all your sources together, and then access to week 12. Remember that we had week 13 last week. So this is week 14. Okay, let's start by going to our outline. So what I've done is I went ahead and I filled in this outline, and I am ready to convert it. So if I am in the first class, which is at 2:00, then I would put in this section number 21803. And if I'm in the second class at 3:30, I'd put 21804. Be sure to have your insert page number, put your first name, last name. This is always put the date that it's due, 28 November 2021. Now, remember, I have brackets on that sample copy. So you're going to have to put in whatever it is that you want to do. You could be trying to think, a clinical psychologist, whatever it is, put that in there, and then put career exploration. And I believe there was a word behind that, but take it out. Okay. First of all, this is our introduction. We're supposed to start with something that will get your attention, get the reader's attention. So I went over, Pinterest has a lot of great sayings on plaques and t-shirts. If you can't find another quote, you might do something like that. But now what I'm going to do is take this Roman numeral 1 and make it into my introduction paragraph. Roman numeral 2 then becomes my second paragraph, which is my negatives about the job. Roman numeral 3 is when I start the bottom tier, the entry level of my job. Then Roman numeral 4, actually that was supposed to go over like that. Roman numeral 4 will be my mid-level explanation. You see that one's pretty long there. And Roman numeral 5, my 5th paragraph, will be my third level, which is top level. And then Roman numeral 6 will be my concluding paragraph. So that's what we're going to do there. So what I'm going to do, and again, you can't just remove all of this information and say, okay, well, I've got 6 paragraphs. No, you still have to go back over it and make sure everything flows smoothly. You've got to do a lot of that. Now notice that I'm hitting backspace, and I'm taking all of my Roman numerals out. I'm taking all of my capital letters out, and then I'm leaving one space between a period and the next sentence. That's right. All right. Now, because I've told y'all that I have the because of the Disabilities Act, I have to label what kind of print this is, and you'll see that's heading number 2. I'm just going to change it to normal. You don't have to worry about that. This is just on mine. Okay, and because I did it like that, I need to go back and put it in Times New Roman. Always make sure that if you change something, that it's actually in Times New Roman. Okay, so here is my lead, my hook. Just a girl who loves exposing people. It's not just a saying on a t-shirt, but apropos for the profession I have chosen to pursue. It might sound like a job for a private investigator or gossip columnist, but people will actually come to me to be exposed. And then you go on down here, and here is your thesis. The journey to my goal begins as a radiology technologist 1, moves to radiology technologist 2, and moves up to tech lead as a possible team lead. This is my last sentence of my introduction. Yours should plot a roadmap of where you're going. And you already know you're going to talk about your main points are going to be your entry level, mid level, and your top level. Don't forget to put your thesis at the end. It's like when you don't, it's like getting in a car, just driving around, not knowing where you're going. You've got to have a roadmap. That's your thesis. Okay, now we're taking out this Roman numeral 2, and that's going to be our second main point. And what I will do, others may argue that, I'm going to take that out because this was just one of those things that it was one of the 5 or 6 expressions you could use at the beginning of the second paragraph because it's opposing views. This, I don't know that I want to keep saying career. I can go back later and get a synonym. Is difficult because it requires lifting and exposure to pathogens. Now, if you're the class that went over this with, remember this, we don't want to put any positive things in there. So we're going to take out that part about the hospitals equipped you. Okay. It requires, and it's kind of repetitive, but now you're saying exactly how much. Okay, then you put your, okay, and that's fine. All right, so then you're going to go take these out. Now and again, you need to put your period there. You can't just go and take stuff out and think it's going to be okay. Now, this person, whoever did this, needs to tell me what a PCT is because I have no idea. Then, see how the period leaves? You need to go back. You need to do that. Okay. I took this out. I would say technicians also have to deal with COVID positive. Well, I think that it's positive kids and adults. I'd just say people, but okay. I would take this part out because that's a positive. Remember, this is supposed to be negative. So are you getting the gist of what I'm doing? Okay, so the third paragraph now becomes this. Again, if I leave it like that, I'm going to be in trouble because, okay. Now, this third paragraph is when I talk out when I talk about the entry level. So I need to start with that. The road to becoming a radiology technician lead begins with becoming a, okay, technologist one. Okay, so then okay. And I'm really not sure why this is important. The Bureau of Labor Statistics states okay. Why don't you say defines this position as why don't you take this part out? And I'm going to put an ing on there, so I've got to put that in brackets. Diagnostic. Okay, so there we go. Now this is going to be one of your works cited. So you've already told me where you got it here. So that's okay. You don't have to put it in parentheses. Okay. Okay, so okay, so you're going to go ahead and do all of this, and then you're going to take this out and make that your middle. So your fourth paragraph, you should be at your mid level. You're going to turn all of that into paragraphs. So this is what it's going to look like. So once you take all of that out, this is what it'll look like. I started with that very same outline, and this is what the final product looks like. Now, what I also did in here is I probably should have done this in red because I need to go back over here and add some things. For example, you should get your rubric out and look at it because it will, you should notice that you didn't even put salary range there on the entry level. But what was also interesting about that is that you referenced it in the second one at the mid level, and you said something about a certain percentage higher or something. Let's see, maybe it's down here. Yeah, I said salary range. You gave no salary range in the previous paragraph. So you said that it's going to increase at mid-level, but 10,000 a year. And I don't know what that means because you didn't tell me what an entry-level person got. Be sure to also put a dollar sign. It's okay to say 10K. That's totally fine. You just need to put a dollar sign on it. Okay, and then I went through here. Now, normally I would just fix this when I'm doing my revision and editing, but because this is somebody else's, I'm putting this here. Do not ever use an abbreviation until you've given the person, the reader, what that means. Okay, now notice that if you go back and look at that outline, I took all of that out and then just put bullets in instead because it's just rattling off all the things that a person does in that position. Okay, and then this is the sixth paragraph. So it's where you're talking about whether it's good, bad, whether it's a good fit for you, and then you start out and you end with a logical comment. Even though some might not consider a career in radiology let's see. Yeah, I'll take that out. An let's see. Even though some might not consider a career in radiology as exciting or even as satisfying career, the same could be said about other careers. The key to success is finding what fits best for me, and this is the perfect career for me, at least for now. While I'm advancing in this field, I'm able to make a reasonable salary if I live frugally. If for some reason I choose to change my path, the steps I take to become a radiology technician are easily transferable to many other careers. Okay, I don't really like that. So I would go back and redo that. But again, this is preliminary. And unfortunately, a lot of people think, well, okay, so I copied it from rough draft over to here, I mean, from outline to here. So I'm done. No, you're not done. You need to have a couple of rough drafts and go over it. Make sure, go to that rubric I provided for you, because that's exactly how I'm going to grade yours. And you know what? If you want to, go ahead and grade yours. See what you predict that I'm going to write down. I know some professors have people do that, but I'm not going to ask you to do it unless you want to. Okay, here are the citations. Now this one here, okay, that's the occupational. That's on, remember when I said earlier that you need to go to week 12 and look at document 3? Pardon me, those are on there. This is that one from the vocational and career collection from our database, the same place that we get academic search complete. You go to vocational and career collection. And so I cited this one. And then this is another one that's on that document 3. Now, you're going to have to go in and put whatever your occupation is there and here. Oh, that's almost straight. There. Yeah, you need to put your, in this case, the comma goes inside the quotation mark. You need to have at least 3 of these. As far as pro-choice is concerned, I'm still looking into that because I can't see what you're seeing. For right now, just put pro-choice 3 or choices 360. I'm sorry, choices 360. Just put it for right now, and any other information you can give me, because it was, if it was in the value sorter, I need to know that. I need to know if there was a title that you looked it up under, anything you can give me, and also the date that you accessed it. And the one from, let me show you, Manny, there were several pages. I put 18 there. That's where I got it. And I think I changed the color of that. It should have been black. That's weird. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy Thanksgiving.